work, so it
That
wasn't
is
just
true as well.
being along there. It was,
And one of the key things I think is really important, that in order to take the tax burden off the citizens of Canby, we really need to fill in that industrial park. And I really think this is a good step toward making that industrial park more attractive
I agree.
to businesses.
So with all that,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, Tim, Mr. Dale?
I move for resolution number URR 13-003, a resolution declaring that Canby Urban Renewal Agency's intent to award the bid and sign a contract with North Santiam Paving Company for the construction of Sequoia Parkway Stage 7 street improvements and Oregon Pacific Railroad crossing.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Dale, second by Commissioner Hensley, to approve URR 13-003, a resolution declaring the Canby Urban Renewal Agency's intent to award the bid and sign a contract with North Santiam Paving Company for the construction of Sequoia Parkway Stage 7 street improvements and Oregon Pacific Railroad crossing. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. We're going into new business continued. Before we go into the Urban Renewal District Annual Report, I wonder if it would be all right with Renata. We have some people here that want to talk about the facade improvements. Maybe we could handle those first. Okay, so let's do facade improvement applications. We have applications from Mike's Place, Advantage Mortgage Building, and the Canby Clinic.
Jamie Stickle, Main Street Manager, and we'll just do them right in that order. So if
Okay.
Kate wants to come on up. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can just talk a little bit about what you're looking to do, where you're located, and we'll...
Now, this is on Mike's Place?
Mike's
Yeah.
first.
My name is Hank Hyman from Mike's Place, 404 Northwest First Avenue. And we'd like to paint the building, improvements to it. Filled out the applications, hopefully met the requirements. So, if there's any questions, feel free.
no, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty major facelift that you guys are looking to do there.
Yeah, the door addition, it's different, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
If there's any questions about that?
And if I could ask a question, I think you were talking of that the colors to the outside might be coordinated with the American Legion, is that right?
Well, yeah, and I guess we discussed that. What I was going to have is, when this was approved, my understanding is that I could have a company come in and actually consult as far as what color to paint it. And I was going to have Divine come in. I've used them 3 or 4 times. They charge approximately like $300 and tell you what to paint that. And then I was going to have American Legion's design that I have a copy with, and have them do that, look at that.
That's one of the provisions in our facade improvement, is the assistance on the design and coordination, color coordinations and things.
And in that too, I have no objections if upon approval, if you want to make that approval of you picking the colors, that's fine.
You don't want us picking.
Just deciding what color your tavern is, Hank.
Sometimes we have trouble making decisions, and we might never get to that one.
Well, I'm not good at that either, that's why I'm having Divine come in.
Yeah.
They do a good
There are
job.
people out there that are good at it.
Great job.
Yeah, I would trust Jamie on that decision than us. Just throw that out there.
And I provided them with we, at this time, provide the Sherwin-Williams Arts and Crafts colors, the exterior colors, so just as a guideline, but also he has the information what the American Legion is going to do, so
Sure.
that helps also to make sure that we're having a cohesive look downtown. And I think it's going to be a great update with the painting, washing, and then the new door.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Need a motion?
Other discussion? Yeah. Motions?
Yeah, I will make the motion to approve the facade improvement with matching grant up to $25,000 for the Mike's Place building.
Second.
I didn't hear the second.
Second.
Oh, Clint. Thank you, Clint.
Motion by Commissioner Hodson, second by Commissioner Coleman, to approve the matching grant of up to $25,000 for facade improvements to Mike's Place under the guidelines of the Downtown Canby Facade Improvement Program. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Mike, for doing this.
The street's starting to look really nice down there with all of the improvements.
So next I'll have Dan from Advantage Mortgage come on up. Advantage Mortgage is located at 265 Southwest First Avenue on Highway 99. We've met with Dan and his sister Kim, who they are the owner of the buildings, and they're interested in updating and modernizing the building, painting the exterior, changing the siding, adding new windows, adding slate to the lower portions, so I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, I'm Anderson Properties. We did Legos last year. The building came out rather nice, so the building directly across the street with the 1970 used brick on it. It's time for an update there as well. So we want to do something like the Lego store. It'll be similar colors in rock passion. And there's a big hedgerow between that and Shell gas station. It's been, you don't even see the building from the west side there. That's all coming out, fence, new landscaping as well. So you will be able to see the building once again. And we're looking forward to it. There's a sound issue in there that we're also going to be dealing with. You might have to be standing out on the sidewalk talking on the phone. It's so noisy in there. So we're getting some sound upgrade issues by reducing windows, taking a few out, soundproof windows, acoustical board, acoustical sheetrock and whatnot. So that'll all be a part of that project. I don't think I have. We're putting in handicap ramp. We've never had it. So, well, it's just old and new. I think you've all seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in my packet.
Yeah, it's going to look.
That's gonna look good.
You submitted those, or those were in the packet. It'll be a nice complement to that block. So.
But, yeah, it's due for an upgrade, and after 40 years, it's really due. Any questions?
I don't.
No, I don't have any set of good example with the bricks and minifigs project, so I'm confident this one will come out just as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate your participation.
Beautifying 99, appreciate it. The Anderson family, this is the second generation now of Andersons that have helped build Canby, and I appreciate your reinvestment in the city.
Yep. Born and raised here, I plan to stay, so I'm going to keep it looking good.
Amen. Thanks.
Okay?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Anderson Properties LLC facade improvement.
A second?
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Commissioner Hensley, to approve a matching grant of up to $25,000 for facade improvements to Advantage Mortgage Building, so I guess it's Anderson Properties legal, under the guidelines of the Downtown Canby Facade Improvement Program. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
And now we have Canby Clinic. Lost that one.
So then moving on to the Canby Clinic, which is located at 452 Northwest First Avenue, so that same block that Mike's Place is on. I will turn it over so you guys can talk a little bit about your project.
We're purchasing the building, used to be Legacy Medical Clinic, and my wife's a naturopath physician, and so we're gonna put this is the current look, you've probably all seen it. Beautiful. What we want to do, there's multiple problems within the building. We're going to replace all the windows, they're all single pane, wood frame with storefront. The windows, or the doors will be glass doors with the emergency exits. A backlit awning that will span the whole length of the building, so it'll give cover for people walking in the rain, as well as lighting. And then clean the brick. There's several that are, there's a split right down the middle, so they're going to take some of the brick from the planter box and use that to repair the brick along that wall and clean it and seal it. And then the interior, we're, replacing the flooring and putting a heat pump in instead of baseboard heating and stuff like that, so. Quite a few projects to upgrade the building.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant?
No, another great project to be done.
Yeah.
Well, then I will make the motion to approve the matching grant for up to $25,000 for the facade improvements to the Canby Clinic under the guidelines of the Downtown Canby Facade Improvement Program.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Hodgson, second by Commissioner Ryder to approve the matching grant of up to $25,000 for facade improvements to the Canby Clinic under the guidelines of the Downtown Canby Facade Improvement Program. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. I think Jamie and Renata, you guys are doing a great job, especially along First Avenue. I think we're approaching half of the buildings now have upgraded their facades, and it's starting to really, really look nice. And I know there's still others there that are talking about, especially Canby Rental, last I knew, was talking about updating their building, and thank you very much.
It's great to see these businesses and properties, want to participate in the
Yeah.
program, and a lot of them are doing things on the inside or
Yeah.
above and beyond, whether that's landscaping, things of that nature that are just maximizing their impact.
Getting rid
on
of
town.
baseboard heating and
If I could, there's a context to this, and I'd like to thank Walt Daniels, because he was the one who prophetically said that once we get started, people are going to start looking at their neighbor, and it's just going to keep snowballing, and that's what we have happening on that block. And thank you, and drop in for a naturopathic examination. I'm about due, so appreciate you being on First Avenue there. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, next item is adoption of the 2011-2012 Canby Urban Renewal District Annual Report. Is that the different one?
This is updated with the additional project list.
So I have to
Should
carry
be
my
so
scribbles
changed.
from one over to the other?
And then you have if you choose to adopt it, the final to keep. All right. So what you have before you today is the proposed 2011-2012 annual report. This is the second iteration of the enhanced version of the annual report. State statute only requires that we provide the financials and make them available to the public. We thought it was important to provide all of the pieces in one place. The program, as you can tell from earlier conversation, is sometimes confusing and misunderstood by the general public, and the intent of this report is to be transparent and to provide all of the information in a clear and understandable way so that people can understand the purpose and the merits of the program and where it's heading. So this is a quick overview of the report for you. The first section highlights the goals of the Urban Renewal District, the timelines, and the boundary. And it also explains how urban renewal funding works. And new this year, we've added a frequently asked questions section that addresses some of the misperceptions. The second section of the report highlights the projects that we have. In 2011-2012, there were two major projects. There was the construction of the $9 million police facility, as well as the $2.4 million First Avenue redevelopment project. Currently, the agency is working on a $10.5 million package of projects that includes the library and council chambers and the future city administration space, and then a $4.2 million Sequoia Parkway extension to 13th Avenue. There's also a summary of projects that's updated for you that are in the plan that have not yet been completed, and with current cost estimates of what those projects might be. They include many road projects, sewer and fire investments, Highway 99E improvements, park enhancements, and ongoing programs that support business and property owner investment. An update of that list is proposed as an amendment for you to consider tonight, and it's on page 8. The final section of the plan reflects past investments and accomplishments of the district. Early focus of the plan of the program was on the Pioneer Industrial Park. That investment has netted $74 million in private sector investment, 842 jobs, and 15 companies that are now in the Pioneer Industrial Park. The next, the attention shifted to downtown Canby with streetscape improvements in 2nd Avenue, gateway signs, the development of the Canby Cinema and the Andrus Building, and 7 facade improvement projects, and more to come this year. Programs underway to support businesses and investment is the Main Street Program, the Facade Improvement Program, and the Revolving Loan Fund Program. With that quick overview of the report, I'd like to have our Finance Director, Haley Fish, highlight the URA financial section of this report.
So included within the report on page 15, there is cumulative actuals from the inception of the agency up through June 30th, 2012. So that's important to note, is that this report is through June of last year. Then on page 16, there are actuals for just the fiscal year, June 30th, 2012, and we've also included the budgeted numbers for fiscal year 13 that we're in right now. So if you look at the cumulative totals on page 15, those include both operating/project costs and the debt service that we're paying on the debt incurred to execute those projects to this point. The debt incurred, including long-term debt contracts and administrative costs as of June 30th, 2012, as applies to the maximum indebtedness of the plan, which is the $51,149,000, as adopted in the original plan, is approximately $26 million. And per this report, that updated project list that you guys got, there's approximately $23.5 million in projects that haven't been completed to this point. So if you add the indebtedness of the $26 million to the projects that haven't been completed at this point of the $23.5, that still leaves us below the maximum indebtedness of the plan. So it basically says that we're on track, and if we wanted to continue with the plan and execute every single one of those projects, we would be within the maximum indebtedness. Now, if you go forward to now, as of March 31st of this year, the debt incurred is approximately $38 million, and that includes additional projects executed up to now and the debt that was issued for the Sequoia Parkway and library projects. And additional, that would make the unfunded projects $11 million, which also leaves us under the maximum indebtedness. So the plan appears to be on track. And then if you go to the very last page of the project, some really great news is that since the inception of the agency, the growth attributed to the development is $101,760,909. So that's the growth in the assessed value through the life of the agency. And the growth over the last year was $13,329,345.
Haley,
Where is that one number? 13 million what? I'm sorry.
Page 17.
Oh, page 17. No, I'm looking for the 13 million number.
I just subtracted the 1 million, or the 88 million from last year's report from the 101 million that we're at this year to get to the 13 for the 1 year growth.
What I was going to ask Haley is, maybe, would you mind for the TV viewing audience, just kind of recap page 17, just as a general conversation piece, seeing as how we've had some heavy dialogue on urban renewal district tonight?
Yeah, so when the agency was, at the beginning of the agency, the frozen value of the district was $65,611,926. Since then, as of July 1st, 2012, the assessed value within that exact same district was $195,392,000. $307,827. I really wish they would have rounded these numbers.
If you
But
want
they
to
come
round, you can.
directly from the county. So that means that the increase in the assessed value over the life of the agency is $129,695,901. Now, the next piece in that little outline on page 17, they assume, the general assumption is that assessed value will raise by 3%, and the districts within the agency still get to realize some of those increases. So that number is estimated to be $27,934,992, which means that the difference in that 129 and the 27 is the 101 million, which would then be attributed to the development within the district.
So what you're saying here is that 28 million, that the increase due to the 3%, that is not money that went to the various taxing districts, but that is the
These are all assessed values of property
value that
within the
the value
district.
has, okay.
So that would be, the 27 million would have been the expected growth
Right.
if no development would have occurred.
Right.
So,
And the bulk of this increase, of the $100 million increase is due to the industrial park? Probably. Or that neighborhood that was, that urban renewal put in those roads and,
That's correct. Most of the newer buildings are in the industrial park, but there have been some newer buildings in the rest of the urban renewal district as well, notably the Cinema and the Andrus Building are newer developments that have happened since the inception of the district.
so over the history of the district, we've dispersed $28,400,000 to the projects listed on page 15.
some of that is debt service. 4.5 is
Yeah.
debt service on the bonds that we,
Okay.
or the debt
But
that we've issued.
including debt service, we've invested 28 million for an increase of 100 million. So a 4-to-1 increase, that's pretty good return on investment. Okay. Now, you said there was an amendment on page 8.
I had emailed the council and to the commission an update to the project list yesterday, and in what I handed you today, that includes the updated list.
Okay.
The previous list didn't have the revolving loan fund or the facade improvement program. They weren't projects, they were programs.
Okay.
And so we wanted it to be complete.
All right,
So that's the difference.
good.
Renata, on page 2 of this, or page 27 of our packet, in the FAQs, the question at the bottom there, so why am I paying urban renewal, it shows up on my tax statement piece. What I want to understand, or I guess question, or just as a verification, is that the tax base within the URD is frozen.
Correct.
Okay, so the rest of Canby outside of the urban renewal district is not frozen. It continues to increase and add value.
Correct.
And goes right back into the city, not
Yes.
into, okay, thank you.
There's a good explanation of what Brian was just mentioning under the FAQ on page 2 of the report. It says, why am I paying for urban renewal? It shows up on my tax statement, and it goes on to say that you're not, that that's the way the assessor wanted it broken out on the statements, but reality is that it's not.
Right.
You're not
And that's-
paying extra for it. I think that was a real good explanation. I think we ought to get that out more in public.
That was actually a result of a lawsuit filed by the Shiloh Inn owner, M Street, and that's done that way all over the state, in fact. It shows up on every one. And I want to point out, it's a false premise, and I'm going to point out, but without urban renewal, the $65 million would have turned into about $90 million. Okay, so it would have been grown. But that's a false premise because there was some development without the urban renewal help. I mean, if you think about the Canby Builders Supply, and across the street is the new drugstore, I believe, that's in the urban renewal district. But it's also a false premise to say that we're losing $440 million a year. You wouldn't get that 440 to lose if you didn't have an urban renewal district,
Right.
as you pointed out. And a 4-to-1 return on investment, I think, is a pretty good investment. Another thing that's thrown out is schools are losing money. It's 1% that they're losing in terms of, across the state, in terms of what school district budgets are and what urban renewal pays or takes from schools, it's 1%. But they don't necessarily lose that, because it's a formula-based thing in schools, and it's property or income tax, when it goes down, the economy we've had in the last 4 years, that's why schools are losing money. Would they have more money if they had that 1% from urban renewal? Probably, but that's what it is, 1%. So we lost, actually 446,000 lost, if you will, to the general fund this year because of that. That 446, a portion of that would not have been there unless we had urban renewal. And I don't know what that number is, nobody else does either, because you don't know what the investment's going to be up and down without urban renewal. Like I said, Canby Builder Supply and the drugstore, I don't know, is it Rite Aid across the street?
Rite Aid, yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they came in because of urban renewal. So I think that's something to keep in mind. It's a false premise to say we wouldn't have gotten any growth. It's a false premise to say that we're losing 446, in my opinion.
Actually, that kind of leads into my question, which we talked a little bit about in your office. And I think this is an excellent place to host the chart we talked about. I think that this projection that's in the urban renewal plan of what the assumed diverted funds from each taxing district would be, if we had the actuals and publish it in here so that everybody has all the information in the same place. They can see the projects, they can see the projects that are coming, they can see how much we spent, and they can see this picture here. This has been an often asked question, is how much does the fire district lose? How much does it would be in there if we could have this chart of actuals included in the annual report?
I think that's a good idea. And if you'll notice, if you look on that chart that you're looking at?
Yes.
It shows in the 2000, under city, what does it show in the 2012-13 year?
2012-13 or
2012-2013 fiscal year.
the year that we're in right now?
Yeah, what's the number there?
City foregone, 640,301.
What's the under city foregone?
For this year, for last year would have been 568,520.
Yeah, when in fact, the true number was 441. Or I thought it was 441, the true number is 446. So we're quite a bit under, actually, what that said, but that should be printed. You're right.
Well, it's also, because the assumed value.
Can I see that?
The assumed value is lower than what was projected too, so it goes hand in hand, I
So
suppose.
that chart is that we're ahead of the curve?
Well, it shows the assessed value would be higher than what it actually is also, though, so
Okay.
therefore more would be diverted. That makes sense.
Yeah, so.
If I could ask a
So-
question of Renata. With these facade improvements, I know a lot of people feel like a lot of the projects that we're approving, the facade improvements in First Avenue, is just a lot of fluff. But when you're talking to a prospective business that wants to move into the industrial park, I mean, that can influence closing the deal and actually attracting a business. So, I mean, we're in a very competitive environment, competing against a lot of other communities, and we need to realize that in order to attract the best businesses, we've got to have an attractive product.
Absolutely
Thank you.
correct.
Any other questions or comments? We need to adopt this.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah,
To
sorry.
get that chart in, do we put that as part of our amendment tonight?
Yeah, you can do that,
Yeah.
Is-
and then we'll add it in.
Direct staff to include it.
Okay.
And if she doesn't,
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we adopt the Canby Urban Renewal District Annual Report for the year 2011-2012 with an amended chart showing, that reflects the diverted funds from taxing districts.
And an updated.
Just want to add, as
amended.
presented to you tonight,
Yes.
so that way we know exactly which document.
We would like to add that chart we were talking about before it's adopted,
And we also would want to add the updated page 8.
and the updated page 8. Well, that's as presented, but we were talking about adding the chart.
Great.
So,
Did you get all that, Rich?
as amended for page 8 with the addition
It's on the
of
tape.
the diversion chart.
Do we have a
Repeat that,
second?
please?
Second.
No. I can read it back.
Please.
Commissioner Hodson, or Commissioner Hensley moved to adopt the Canby Urban Renewal District Plan for 2011-2012 as amended by page 8 and with the addition of the diverted revenues chart presented to the Urban Renewal Agency this evening.
Okay.
Does that work?
So all in favor of adoption of the 2011-12 Canby Urban Renewal District Annual Report with the inclusion of the chart and the amended page 8, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously.
Who was my second?
Coleman, Hensley and Coleman.
Got to speak.
All right. Economic development updates.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Or I guess thank you, Haley, because Renata still gets to talk to us.
I wanted to present the economic development update you received in your packet, and I have some updates even since then. In terms of business recruitment, we've had 3 different leads that I've been working with this week. One of them is a broker lead from CB Richard Ellis. They're looking for 20 acres, 200,000 to 250,000 square foot building to employ 400 to 450 jobs. They were interested in incentive programs that we have available, so I provided that to her immediately, of course, and so I'll let you know if we hear back about that. That's pretty exciting.
And I assume you included the SDC
Exactly.
rebate program.
Yes, and also the, is it called the, I'm blanking on it, but it's the 15-year property tax abatement
Oh, yeah,
program.
that's
Although she seemed to indicate that the investment level wasn't quite that high. It's a 25 million plus investment that would be eligible for that. Strategic investment zone, correct.
I knew it was here on the other ones.
And I'm sorry, Renata, can you give those factors again? It's,
They're looking for a 20-acre site, 250, or 200 to 250,000 square foot building. It's a manufacturer looking to employ 400 to 450 jobs.
wow, great.
So that'd be a great project for Canby.
What's their timeframe, decision timeframe? Some of these you get us are 2 years out kind of thing.
She's going to be presenting all the details to the client next week, so she'll get a better feel after that, how serious they are about Canby.
Great.
Secondly, a local high-end cabinet maker that is, their building is just outside of Canby, and the county is encouraging them to be in a more appropriate location. And so they're looking for a 10,000 square foot space, either land to build to suit or an existing space. So I showed him 4 options, and he's seriously considering those.
6-acre parcel, one of them? A specific 6-acre parcel?
With a nice view of Mount Hood.
Actually, it's what he would need to accommodate the size of building is more like a 1 to 2 acre site. So it would probably underdevelop our 6-acre site. Then First City Cycle is located in Oregon City. They're looking at establishing some branch locations in other communities in Clackamas County. So I shared 2 options with them, and they're mulling that over. And then we did get another lead from the state, Project ULU, and they're looking for a 5 to 10,000 square foot warehouse existing space within 5 miles of I-5. I did not respond to that because we don't have an existing building in that size. And then I've told the commission before about Project White Rose that's looking at the Pico building. They're a electric scooter manufacturer, so haven't heard back yet about that, but presented the proposal. And then Project Freedom is looking at a fairly large development. Their deadline for, I've already submitted the information, but their deadline for submission is April 16th, so we won't, it'll be a while before we hear back about that. So in terms of business assistance, we've had a in-depth meeting with American Legion for the revolving loan fund, and there we'd be looking at a $35,000 loan beginning July 1st. Very safe investment. And so we met with our loan officer to discuss the details, and they are very likely to move forward with that. So we'll be Actually, I believe the city administrator authorizes those loans. But I just want to let you know that there's been interest in the program, and we've also talked about it with Canby Rental and one other business. So it's a matter of time before we have some loans to take advantage of the program. And then, thank you to the City Council and Commission for approving the Economic Development Strategy and beginning to implement that. One of the early action items that was identified was to update the website, and by the end of this week, I will have the Economic Development Strategy and all the associated documents available for people to see. And we're also putting the finishing touches on the film and video website, also to be finished by the end of the week. So I'll send you those links when they're ready. And then finally, I'm pulling together a community response team meeting, probably May 1st, to focus on transportation, economic development-related transportation. We're inviting several representatives from Clackamas County and a representative from ODOT to be there. It was identified in the Canby Community Vision that we should be talking once a year with our transportation partners and coordinating projects. So this is the beginning of that discussion. It's more of an information sharing discussion, certainly not a policy discussion. So just want to let you know that that was coming, and that concludes my report.
Okay, thanks.
Renata, one quick question, if any. Just on the website, I was curious, I do remember a lot of conversation in the visioning process about the idea of an umbrella website where we have the Main Street website, we have the city website, we have all these websites. Are we moving towards putting them all under one umbrella to make it easier, more user-friendly? Or is that not on the radar yet?
I'd have to defer to our administrator on that.
Oh, okay.
What was the question, if we're going to put all of the websites under?
Yeah, and I remember a lot of conversation during the visioning. It would come up that the idea of having one umbrella, one go-to, one website where you could then click the different links for different departments, et cetera.
Yeah.
To where
we should be
Canby
doing
would
that.
have one funnel.
And we should have that on our main city website. We should have links to each of these different departments. I think it's good to have the different department websites though, because it can be specific, but we definitely should have. If we don't, that will happen soon.
So then they could just go to the City of Canby's website and find the Main Street and find the business
Yes.
staff, find the library, find.
Police department has a website also.
Yeah, so they should all
Yeah.
be under one.
And that is
Sorry,
true
we're
now.
getting there yet.
The economic development-related website is canbybusiness.com, but if you go to the city's website and look under economic development or business development, it comes right to my website.
Right, okay. I'm just kind of wondering if they're all getting there yet, so.
They should be for now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect, thank you, that's all.
I have a question for you. How many total available acres are available in the industrial park for development, would you say?
Well, it's about a third developed now, and there's 367 acres, so about
1,000
a couple hundred.
Okay.
And Sequoia Park, does that include what Sequoia Parkway Bridge that we approved will open up, or is that in addition?
Correct. I was looking at the entire
thing.
Canby Pioneer Industrial Park, which is beyond the urban renewal district.
So we're a third built out.
Correct.
For what's,
Correct.
so there's a good future there.
Right, and one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm going to be meeting with our state contacts to launch the certified shovel-ready industrial site program on Friday. So they'll be touring the industrial park with me and going through the next steps on launching that initiative.
Good. Good.
Chairman, I got an email from Commissioner Dale yesterday or today? Yesterday, talking about how many acres were in the urban renewal district. And I think the thing on the website, the information under the urban renewal district says 500 and some acres. As you heard, we got 300 and some. And I think there was many iterations of that urban renewal district back in '99. And I think they started with 5. The map in my office says 500 and some acres and now 300. And so it's...
But what, the 500 is the whole district.
Correct.
Which includes
Oh,
downtown.
just the
and 99.
downtown? But they did lose some of that, though. I think they took some of that out from the original.
Mr. Chair, if I may, that's correct. I filed a bunch of historical documents the other day. There was an original approval, and then there was some land withdrawn.
Withdrawn, okay. So
But I could
probably
be-
outside there.
I could be, you're right, it's bigger than the 300, but I think there was some withdrawn. and I said that maybe they did it in the county and annexed it, but I actually think it was, well, I don't know, but I do know that there was some discussion about some that had been taken out.
So the 367's just in the industrial
Just-
park, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I noticed, Mr. Chair, was that the website had a pretty substantial number of acres that were listed as being outside of the city limits. And that's what city administrator and I were talking about, was if that was really still true or not.
Yeah, there is considerable that's outside, that's within the district, isn't there, that's
there?
outside the...
Are you talking about the Canby Pioneer Industrial Park?
Yes.
So the parcels that are to the south of Township are outside of the urban renewal district, but within the city limits.
Okay.
And then
So I have it backwards then.
there, if you were to draw a line halfway down the parcels that are between Walnut and Malino.
Right.
That the urban renewal district divides those almost in half. So the part that is to the east would be in the city limits, but outside the urban renewal district.
So no parcels or no acreage outside the city limits that you're aware of? I don't think we have.
There's a cemetery, there's a few
There's a few
tiny.
little pockets.
Not very,
Oh.
not anything
Yeah.
substantial.
Yeah.
Sounds like we have a little correction to do then on the
Yeah.
website. It's pretty
Well, I
big.
wonder, though, if it's the original document,
Probably.
you know, from 1999, do we want to, you know, I'm saying it is the original document, but I don't know. Make clear. Yeah.
Okay, other questions for Renata? Thanks,
Thank you
Renata.
very much.
Thank you, Ron.
Further economic development updates, Main Street. Jamie?
Nice color.
Oops. It's better than here.
Okay.
So once again, I am Jamie Stickle, Main Street Manager. I'll go through the Main Street update. For promotion, the Downtown Canby First Friday program was held on April 5th, last Friday. It featured 5 businesses, and we actually got interest from a new business just today who's wanting to participate, showcase their business. It's a new business in town. And they usually offer food specials, retail specials, drink specials, music. Some businesses even do fundraising for nonprofits throughout the area. It's a nice partnership that brings the community together, offers a good event, and in conjunction with the First Friday, we will do a cash mob, which will start back up in May 3rd, is the First Friday in May. The Garden Spot Run is being held on May 4th, and it's a fun run walk, a 10K and a 5K with a kiddie run and a doggy dash, and that's kitty as in child, not kitty as in cat. Unless you'd like to bring your cat on a leash, and I'm sure that would be fine also. And it will include music, children's activities. We're working on coordinating different aspects of this event with having vendors. We'll have information, and we've worked with the Master Gardener Show and the Saturday Market so that we can not just bring people to Canby for one event, but also get them moving, hopefully, throughout the area. I have not seen any registrations from any of you, and maybe you need the website again. It's thegardenspotrun.com, and if you can register there. It's got all the information. Run, walk, 10K or 5K. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mother's Day is coming up Sunday, May 12th, and to build off the Valentine's Day event promotion that we had with the downtown businesses, we're going to do that again. It's free for businesses to participate in and will be marketed through the Main Street website, newsletter, Facebook page, and flyers dispersed to participating businesses. It's going to help to bring people downtown, market local businesses, and encourage a strong working relationship through the downtown business community. Our entertainment brochure, which I passed out, has been updated to reflect new downtown businesses, updated information on existing listings, and updated the color scheme, and they are available several places, including City Hall and the Development Services Building. The Historic Review Board has received and approved 3 applications. A 4th application is expected within the next week. The Historic Review Board will meet 2 to 4 times a year or as needed. And this helps the city be a certified local government. We applied for a certified local government grant in February of 2013, which we just received a letter approving that grant. We'll be awarded $11,750 from the State Historic Preservation Office, and it will help cover costs relating to historic preservation in Canby. The Historic Review Board will help to complete the different aspects of the grant, including completing an intense level survey on 2 to 5 properties that were noted as eligible in the 2009 survey, installing plaques with historic photos and information on 25 properties listed within that 2009 downtown survey. Provide technical assistance for downtown property owners so that maybe they can find ways to update their building, like our facade program, but keep the historic elements and still work with those the businesses that they have currently. It will also help with conference and training for staff and commissioners and with the grant administration. The Clackamas County Main Street Program currently has longtime Main Street manager Patty Webb on a contract to help the Main Street communities, and she's going to be working with Canby to provide training to merchants. This training will be held in late May or early June and will be open to Main Street volunteers, downtown businesses, or anybody that's interested in learning a little bit more about the Main Street program. She was in McMinnville for a very long time, and we're one of 5 communities that was chosen to get this extra training, which is great. The second piece of information that I passed out was regarding the blade sign program. We're currently working on creating a blade sign program to encourage businesses to change from the A-frame signs, which can clutter sidewalks and make it difficult for pedestrians to pass by. The blade sign program will encourage pedestrian traffic, create a unique look for business signage, and allow for easy pedestrian access. It will build off of the successful facade improvement program, and it will use urban renewal funds for hardware and mounting material, which will be permanent structures, and that goes along with what is in the facade program that was just amended earlier this year. The businesses will purchase the signage that will hopefully feature their logo and must fit within the Canby Municipal Code. The facade program, we saw the 3 earlier facade applications that you approved from Mike's Place, the Canby Clinic, and Advantage Mortgage. In addition to those businesses, the Davies Clinic met with the Planning Department and Economic Development Department to discuss preliminary plans for facade improvements. Dr. Bridgman, who is the new owner of the Davies Clinic, is looking to update the facade by changing the paint palette to complement the facade of the Andrus building, adding brickwork around the front of the pillars, and replacing exterior windows. She's also going to be changing the interior of the building and is looking to use the City of Canby's revolving loan fund to assist her in that. That facade improvement should come before the May meeting, she's hoping. And then the Jeans Home Electronics facade application that was approved at the March meeting is currently being worked on, and I provided before and after pictures for you. And when I went to take the picture, somebody was out there actually painting, so the work is happening now.
Thanks. A couple of questions. Yes, thank you. Jamie, regarding the the Garden Spot Run, how are you doing on volunteers? Do you need more volunteers?
We need volunteers, people that are interested in helping set up, helping direct traffic. We're trying to work with the high school. I've met with Mark Clifford at the high school in order to reach out in that avenue, but if anybody is interested in participating, please either go to that Garden Spot Run website or contact me directly, Jamie Stickle, at the City of Canby.
And the second question for you regarding the blade sign program. Now, new businesses that come in, will they automatically, that'll be part of their package of opening a new business? They will be on this program from the start, right?
I think we'll encourage it, obviously, for new businesses, and especially with having just paying for the hardware and the mounting material. If, unfortunately, we lose a business downtown, we will still have the setup for a new business, which makes it a little easier. This program is to encourage businesses, and it's pretty generous. I took a look at what some of the hardware actually costs, so that was taken into consideration, so that it's not going to be a huge out-of-pocket expense, but that it will just be a partnership with the businesses, so hopefully the current and the future businesses choose to participate, create a look downtown.
And then finally, I want to thank you and Renata for getting us your information is part of the packet, so we had it beforehand, so I appreciate that immensely. So thank you for that. Greg, thank you. Well, them too, but
Thank you very
I
much.
just had a question if I could.
Oh, yes, sorry.
The building beside the bricks and minifigs, I believe that they applied and were approved for a
T-line.
facade improvement, and I wondered how that was coming along.
T-line?
Yeah.
I will refer to Renata, she was the one that dealt with that one.
There were several components to the project. The first was to replace a porch and some lattice work that was on the south side of the building. They've done some scraping already, and there was another piece that they had already done. But they were waiting for drier weather before they painted.
Makes sense.
So that the paint had a good chance of drying and not running. So that's why it's not as beautiful
They
as
should
we
have
would
done it over
hope.
Easter weekend. That was not in our summer this year.
Oh, I hope not.
But they have every intention of completing it as soon as the weather cooperates.
Okay, well, thank you both very much.
Greg
I
did.
just, I really appreciate this pamphlet. When I'm a visitor in the town, I like to have, I've looked at this type of pamphlet in a lot of places, and this one stands out, the color. Did you produce this?
I did.
Yeah, I really like it. I
Thank
think
you.
it's very descriptive and fun place to eat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to note, it's also our most popular brochure in the lobby.
Good.
So
Right.
we're out.
Well, I'll bring some over. I'll bring some over tomorrow.
Sell you mine.
Yeah, okay, you owe me for the pen.
That's right.
Any further questions, comments for Jamie? Okay, thanks,
you
Jamie,
very
very much. Before we go, are there any, is there any further discussion, reflections on this evening?
Well, I do
Where
have
we go
a
from here?
comment, but I don't want to step ahead of, anyway.
I know that there was some controversy about even having this dialogue this evening, and I think there were some things that we didn't know, and I think that I appreciate Greg bringing those people in. I know that it was an added cost to do that, but I think we answered some questions, and we got some things, a better picture on do's and don'ts, whether it be now or in the future, on any project that we do regarding the urban renewal district. So it was not a popular conversation, I'm sure, but I appreciate the effort and the learning provided. We don't do this, this is not our professional job, and so...
Thank goodness.
to hear, no, but so the added learning, I appreciate it for doing that, so thank you, and
I learned a lot tonight.
I'd just like to say, I think, I think of the serenity prayer, that we need to recognize the things we can change and the things we can't change, and, we can't control what happens with PERS or healthcare costs, but I think we all want a very healthy Canby, and we gotta get on the growth side of the wagon and really spend our time focusing on projects that are gonna generate a return sooner rather than later.
Greg, you had a comment?
If it was on something else, two other comments that I wanted to make. One on the Sequoia Parkway, which was a project that 28 months ago, when I first got on the council, started to push for, because I, just like you say, Clint, I think that this extension is going to be one of those things that pays off in a big way. But I would like to mention that the family that is providing the right-of-way, in the 2.5 years that I've been talking with them about this, never once has it been about a betterment of the family, that it's always about a betterment of the city. So I would ask us to respect that the intentionality there has always been one for the city. And speaking of intentions, I'm so pleased with the new counselors we have, especially this week. Ken Ryder, who helped me understand that my intention of speaking with passion about my support for the library was misunderstood. I was speaking about ideas, but it certainly came across as a personal slight, and Tracy, I apologize for that it's not what I meant, and it's not what I have in my heart.
Thank you for that.
Any other thoughts or comments? Okay,
Well,
we're gonna-
actually, I might
oh,
make one
sure.
comment, and I wish that Mr. Bitter was still here. I do understand that when a body makes a decision, that it's made a decision, but I felt like a lot of new information had surfaced and that it deserved revisiting in that case. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any further? We're going to open it for one more round of citizen input, if anybody would like to address us this evening. Otherwise, it's last chance.
Just a question.
Question. Come up where you can be heard.
Most of you know who I am, unfortunately. How long is it going to go on? When is the vote actually going to take and be final? You've heard from the people. We voted in a new council because of the past council. We just want to know when it's going to be over.
Well, I think I can answer that. It is over unless someone on the council brings something before the council to vote on to change it. But given, until there's a motion properly made in the proper forum with an affirmative vote to change the plan we have is the one we're working on. That's as straight and honest as I can make it.
Know how we feel.
My name is Teresa Enderly, and I live on Country Club Drive, 2210 Country Club Drive. And I am really passionate about moving forward with the library. And, you know, a lot of different reasons going back to how I've used the library in the past and the benefits that it's given me. I've only lived in Canby 2 years, but I've owned a home here over 8.5 years. And so I feel really part of the community and the things that are happening. So one of the reasons I have volunteered to work on the library project is because of the benefits that I've received from a new library in West Lynn. And when you use a new library versus the facility that we have today, you really see that the things that a new library can offer us are an investment in our future. And sometimes we sit and say what we can or can't do, but I think we really need to say and look inside and say, are we really doing the right thing? And are we moving forward as a city? Canby, I like the idea that it's a smaller community, but I like the fact that we have people here that really want to see us have the right kind of community that's going to be investment for our future. And I think the library represents a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but especially the things that we can offer the future, our kids, and the things that we want to see our community become. So I know as you sit and talk about motions or things, you know, I'm not involved in all that, but I know that I see the passion that the people who are supporting the library project have. We have not let up on our fundraising. I'm on the foundation and the Friends of the Library. The fun part of what we do is going out and asking people to help support the project. And I spoke last week at City Council and just said the same thing, that we're really moving forward. We're working hard on our fundraising projects. We're seeing great results, and we have a great response from the community, and really ask you to look at that and think about that and move forward with one voice to really say that this is a decision that's been made and let's move forward. So, as Rich said, there is no reason to vote, and I know that Jeanette said the same thing. There is no vote on this to the public. It's decided, let's make it happen. I think we talk a lot about things that we can or cannot do, but this is something we can do as a community and really make our community better. So I'm looking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger, do you have a comment?
Roger Wright, 273 North Grant Street. Just a couple thoughts. We completed our city visioning process, and I was quite impressed with the process. I didn't make all meetings, but made about half of them. And what came out to me was that we wanted to remain a small community, but we wanted to be a progressive community. The second point I make is that I attended all the meetings on the library with the architects and things, and it held, I don't know, 10 times as many people as we had in this room, and how many people were involved in support and things. So when I hear the words "we," I just would respectfully take issues when we say we are against it. I don't know that the "we," I sincerely believe there's a lot of people that do not, and that's the result of going to meetings. Thank you.
Roger, if I can just add one thing, and your segue is the opportunity to do it. When you say "we" support or don't support, you're right. I mean, whereas it's not unanimous in either direction. In fact, in our packet tonight is a petition that has over 140 signatures on it, asking us to move ahead with one voice on the library. And so there is support for the library in the community, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, don't know. But, until we change it, unless we change it, the decision is that we're moving ahead with it.
Thanks, Roger.
Any other comments?
Just to address an issue that was brought up by some of the speakers, I just wanted to point out that after you take off the people that